Top 7 Most Evil Nazi Women. Shocking stories of their atrocities. Think the Nazi regime's atrocities were solely the work of men? Think again. Behind the veil of power stood women who committed acts so vile they defy belief. From unspeakable medical experiments to orchestrating mass deaths, these women shattered every boundary of human decency. Brace yourself, because what you're about to hear will leave you questioning humanity itself. Hi friends, welcome to our channel, where we uncover the untold stories of history, sometimes inspiring, often shocking, and always enlightening. Today, we're diving deep into the lives of the top 7 most evil Nazi women, exploring how their monstrous deeds helped shape one of history's darkest chapters. If you're ready for a journey into the sinister corners of the past, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss our latest videos. Now let's expose the women whose cruelty knew no bounds. The Nazi regime, infamous for its cruelty and inhumanity, is often portrayed as a male-dominated hierarchy. But lurking in its shadows were women who were every bit as ruthless. These women defied societal expectations of the time, not as protectors or nurturers, but as active participants in mass murder, torture, and genocide. While some served in official capacities, others acted as willing accomplices to their husbands or superiors. Regardless of their roles, their actions left a legacy of terror and suffering. Let's delve into the stories of 7 such women, starting with the hyena of Auschwitz. The 7 women. Irma Grese. The hyena of Auschwitz, Irma Grese, was one of the most notorious figures to emerge from the horrors of the Nazi concentration camps. Born in 1923, Grese joined the SS at just 19 years old and quickly rose to infamy due to her sadistic behavior. She served as a guard at Ravensbrück, Auschwitz, and Bergen-Belsen, where her reign of terror left prisoners in a state of perpetual fear. Grese was particularly known for her cruel selections of prisoners for the gas chambers, often smiling as she condemned them to death. She carried a whip and pistol, which she used liberally to torture inmates, and unleashed her vicious dogs on prisoners without hesitation. Witnesses described her as a beautiful yet terrifying figure, a contradiction that added to the psychological torment she inflicted. Her trial after the war exposed her atrocities, and she was convicted and hanged at the age of 22, becoming one of the youngest war criminals to face execution. 2. Ilse Koch, the Witch of Buchenwald. Ilse Koch epitomized the corruption and grotesque excesses of the Nazi elite. As the wife of Karl Otto Koch, the commandant of Buchenwald concentration camp, Ilse had free rein to indulge her sadistic tendencies. She became infamous for her fascination with tattooed skin, allegedly selecting prisoners with unique tattoos to be killed so their skin could be preserved. Some reports claim she used the skin to create items such as lampshades, though this has been debated. Ilse's cruelty extended beyond her macabre hobbies. She often roamed the camp with a riding crop, beating prisoners at will, and enjoyed humiliating them in bizarre ways. After the war, her trial became a spectacle, with testimonies detailing her depravity shocking the world. Although she denied many of the allegations, she was sentenced to life in prison and ultimately died by suicide in 1967. Leaving behind a legacy of horror. 3. Maria Mandl, the Beast of Auschwitz. Maria Mandl's name is synonymous with the machinery of death at Auschwitz. As the chief overseer of the women's section of the camp, Mandl held immense power and wielded it with terrifying brutality. She was responsible for the deaths of over 500,000 prisoners, often hand-picking those who were sent to the gas chambers. Mandl's sadistic nature went beyond systematic murder. She had a penchant for psychological torment, making examples of prisoners by publicly humiliating and punishing them. Survivors recounted her commanding presence and her chilling indifference to human suffering. Mandl was also instrumental in expanding Auschwitz's capacity to accommodate and exterminate more prisoners. Captured after the war, she faced trial and was executed by hanging in 1948. Her story is a stark reminder of the cruelty that can arise when power is placed in the hands of the inhumane. Herta Oberhäuser, the angel of death's assistant. Herta Oberhäuser's crimes were unique in their calculated cruelty, as she weaponized her medical knowledge to inflict unimaginable suffering. Serving as a physician at Ravensbrück concentration camp, Oberhäuser conducted experiments that rivaled those of Josef Mengele in their barbarity. She injected prisoners with lethal substances, performed amputations without anesthesia, and deliberately infected wounds to study their effects. Oberhäuser's experiments were often aimed at advancing Nazi military medicine, but the human cost was staggering. Victims endured excruciating pain and mutilation, with many dying as a result of her sadistic practices. Unlike some of her counterparts, Oberhäuser did not hold a high-ranking position, but her action demonstrated how individuals at any level could perpetrate immense evil. She was tried at the Nuremberg doctor's trial and sentenced to 20 years in prison. Though she was released after serving only 5, a shocking injustice to her victims. Of Dorothea Binz, the ruthless Ravensbrück guard. Dorothea Binz's tenure at Ravensbrück concentration camp marked her as one of the most feared SS guards. Known for her mercurial temper and unrelenting cruelty, Binz tortured prisoners physically and mentally, often using her whip as a tool of terror. She was particularly notorious for her role in training new guards, instilling in them the same callous disregard for human life. Survivors of Ravensbrück describe Binz as a relentless presence, patrolling the camp with an air of authority that brooked no dissent. Her punishments were often arbitrary, turning daily life in the camp into a nightmare of uncertainty. After the war, her crimes were laid bare, and she was convicted of war crimes. Executed by hanging in 1947, Binz's story serves as a chilling example of how ordinary individuals can transform into agents of unimaginable cruelty under the right conditions. 6. Gertrude Scholz-Klink, the Nazi feminist leader. Gertrude Scholz-Klink was not a perpetrator of direct violence, but played a crucial role in shaping the ideological framework that supported the Nazi regime. As the head of the National Socialist Women's League, she was responsible for promoting Nazi ideals among German women. Scholz-Klink emphasized the importance of women's roles as mothers and caretakers, but her rhetoric also encouraged blind allegiance to Hitler and his genocidal policies. She organized propaganda campaigns that glorified Aryan motherhood while demonizing Jews and other minorities, reinforcing the regime's racist ideologies. Scholz-Klink's influence extended to millions, making her a key figure in mobilizing women to support the Nazi war machine. After the war, she faced minimal consequences for her actions, living quietly until her death in 1999. Her story is a sobering reminder of the power of propaganda in perpetuating atrocities. 7. Johanna Altvater, Zelle, the child murderer. Johanna Altvater. Zelle's crimes are among the most heinous of the Nazi era, as they involved the deliberate targeting of children. Serving as a secretary to an SS officer in occupied Poland, Zelle went beyond her administrative duties to personally commit atrocities. Witnesses described her taking children from their parents, throwing them out of windows, or smashing their heads against walls. These acts of violence were carried out with a chilling lack of remorse, making her one of the most reviled figures among survivors. Zelle's actions were driven by a deep-seated hatred, and her crimes often occurred spontaneously, adding to the horror of her unpredictability. Despite her barbarity, she was never prosecuted after the war, a fact that underscores the challenges of holding every perpetrator accountable. Her story stands as a grim testament to the depths of human depravity. These 7 women remind us that evil knows no gender. Their actions contributed to one of history's darkest periods, and their names serve as a chilling warning of what happens when morality is abandoned. If this video shocked you, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's most haunting stories. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, history's lessons are more important than ever. Eh?